Welcome to God Chosen Cosmic Melodies. Guys, I'm really happy to be on to talk about this. It's really heavy on my heart because I feel so interconnected with everything. I can feel the changes happening energetically throughout humanity. And as I said that, I hit my hand. Ow. So I got a message from God, and God put in my heart to reveal this, to bring it to the forefront that what's happening in the government right now is due to what's been happening in the deeper layers of our life experience. As we know, we're souls in a human experience. And so our soul is the most realist part of us. The energy part of this life is the more realist parts, the more realer parts than what we see just in the physical realm, in the matrix. And so God's voice came to me and put in my heart what we see unfolding in humanity is sorry, I'm trying to relate this as clear as possible. What we see in the world today is due to a war that's been happening way beyond what we see before AC and DC. This is an energetic thing having to do with the Most High and aspects of the Most High's creation. So as we know, Satan-like energies try to replicate God's creation and overstep God in this realm, in this 3D holographic matrix simulation realm, in the physical realm. But as we know, the Most High is the ruler of all, including any people who consider themselves deities or gods themselves. They're not God. There's only one God, and it's the Most High that is above all else. And God put in my heart that I really need to emphasize that for the ones in the back who have a hard time comprehending that God is real. And so this is a cosmic announcement. It is time to set our souls free. You are thy, and thy are you. Unblock and activate is the thing that we should all be doing internally, one by one, each of us, because unlocking our energy system is key to this ascension. And they know that. People in the elite, they know this information about spirituality in occult and kahbal stuff. And the reason why occult information and kahbal kind of practices go against the Most High is because they are trying to play God with that information. So the spirits, the dark principalities, different kind of disembodied spirits, convince people that cabal and occult is the way to gain power, because it does have power in this realm. But these people are playing around with other people's lives and energy manipulating, and so they are messing with God's creation. They're trying to play God as if they are really God, when really they're an aspect, an extension of the Most High, but they are not God. There's only one almighty Godhead above all else. And no human on the face of the planet is God. Even if they deluded themselves and actually believe it to be true, well, doesn't matter. So again, we are co-creators of the Creator. We have God-given abilities, so that that might confuse people to believe that they are God themselves. We do have these supernatural abilities, especially when people who have learned occult and cabal, they use magic, black magic, energy manipulation. And so, of course, it's an ego stroke, because the dark principalities are playing on these people's ego, and the ego feels also powerful, feels like God, because it's able to manipulate things in this realm. When they misuse that information, majority of the time, people don't use that information innocently. They're doing that and using that information for some sort of personal agenda. And whatever personal agenda it is, regardless of whatever it is, the core and the point being is that it manipulates energy. Therefore, it's out of alignment with integrity. And so that's against God. You're going against the Most High when you try to take life into your own hands and call yourself God, and manipulate your own reality, other people's realities, and then think that they're not going to have consequences to energy manipulation against the Most High. Anytime people practice occult or cabal and use that information over they're following, or over, you know, situations to control outcomes, you are trying to play God, and you are not God. So therefore there will always be consequences to that. That's the laws of the universe. I don't care how many years these people study this and how they think they're so invincible, and they think they can keep doing protection spells to avoid the consequences from karmic debt that is accumulated throughout the time that they practice these kind of things over humanity or people, or just in general, you know, manipulate energy in whatever way that is. It is out of integrity. I pray that more people who have been tricked by dark principality spirits into convincing people that the cabal and the occult is the way, they need to snap out of it sooner than later, because those spirits, they want to use them and abuse them to think that the cabal and occult is the way. And then when they get their karmic consequences, those spirits that convince them that that is the way, those spirits are not going to save them. Those spirits are not going to be there for the people that they manipulated into believing that cabal and occult is the way to control this reality. No, the way to rise up in whatever, throughout whatever, is connecting with the Most High, even throughout the polarities and whatever unfair things is meant. It's all meant for our growth, to get more raw and honest with ourselves, to hold ourselves up to more integrity throughout the mistakes of ourselves and other people. That's what it's all for, to get closer to God, not to cop out and then run to a dark spirit and think that cabal and occult energy manipulation is going to like save themselves, you know, out of poverty or whatever, when in fact, in reality, occult and cabal is karmic. So even if they gain anything, what they lose will be so much more. So a person is better off taking, you know, the route of not waiting, but like trusting in God's timing and doing, you know, things from the right way, instead of choosing a cop out of a cabal and occult information. And the more people we have waking up to the realization that they have been misled, the more people that will rise up to their inner hero and save themselves out of the tricks and traps of the dark principalities of this realm that convince people that the cabal and the occult information is the way to have power in this realm. It's not. It's karmic, and that's what it boils down to. We can agree to disagree. I don't care. People who do practice that, they will convince themselves and each other that there's nothing wrong with it. But just because they convince themselves and each other that there's nothing wrong with it, it doesn't mean that that's actually true. Everything is wrong with it. It really just boils down to their trying to play God, in a sense, in many different aspects, from a small scale, medium scale, or big scale. And so that information is meant to improve humanity, not to manipulate humanity. That information is to assist humanity's spiritual awakening and assist humanity to rise up out of suppression and oppression, spiritual suppression and oppression. All that information is meant to literally advance our souls, not just the physical realm, our souls. And so, yeah, they don't use that information to help advance our souls on a humanity level. They use that information to manipulate humanity, to feed off of humanity, to derail humanity. They don't use the cabal and occult in holy ways, because it is not holy. It is against the Most High. I am not against anyone who practices that or believes in that. I'm not against the practice itself. I am shining a light of awareness on the truth, and the truth stands on its own, regardless of my opinion or anyone's opinion. And so, yeah, I just wanted to let that out. That's not originally what I was going to talk about, but I go with the flow. As you know, anyone who's been watching my channel so far, if you haven't subscribed already, do yourself a favor and subscribe. Ring the bell for upcoming videos and click like, because it helps this video reach many other people. As we know, we got to work with the algorithms. So if you want to come along on this journey with me, again, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to talk more about what I was originally going to talk about in my next video. So I will talk to you in my next video.